Welcome to Big Blend Radio's Jefferson Highway Show. This historic highway was formed in 1915 by the Jefferson Highway Association. It runs from Winnipeg, Canada, all the way to New Orleans, Louisiana. Let's go! So everyone, we're really excited here on Big Blend Radio's Jefferson Highway Association travel podcast that we do every fourth Thursday. I mean, we have a slew of podcasts happening today because we're celebrating Road Trip Day. National Road Trip Day is May 23rd every year, but as far as we are concerned in regarding to the Jefferson Highway and on Big Blend Radio, every day is a good day for a road trip. So today we're going to go to Gearhead Curios and Petrol Motor Quart, and that is going to be coming up. Petrol Motor Quart is a project that is in the making, but it's all spearheaded through Gearhead Curios. So we're going to go to Galena, Kansas, and this is so exciting. We've got Aaron Perry back on the show, and also Cassandra. So Aaron, welcome back. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. Glad to be here with you.
Glad to have you here. Cassandra Ringel is here. Cassandra, how are you doing?
Doing good. Excited to be here.
So, Cassandra, are you like working more, like, let's see, the division of duties here. Are you more on the Petrol Motor Quart side of things?
Yeah, so I mean, Aaron has Gearhead Curios set up. When I met him a little over a year ago, he's had that going. He's doing awesome there. But then he suggested this idea of Petrol Motor Quart, and I was like, this is amazing. And yes, I've just dove deep into it and think about it constantly. So I'm very excited to get it going.
Well, we're excited to hear more about it on the show. You were on the Jefferson Highway show a couple of months ago, and I'm just excited that this is dedicated to exactly what you guys are doing. Aaron, please give us a rundown of Gearhead Curios, because apparently people hit the funnel. Am I right? This is a big attraction?
It is. I don't want to say it's like an underground movement like Arlo Guthrie would say with Alice's Restaurant.
Yeah.
But we have a very unique restroom photo opportunity, and then an opportunity for the ladies to hit the funnel being the urinal, and then you get to honk a brass horn, and you get your picture taken, and you get to say that you stood and hit the funnel as part of your road trip.
So, in other words, this is all a contest of aim? Like, really?
Yeah. It's kind of an aim thing, yeah.
Well, listen, I know that sounds bad, but like any road tripper knows, at some times you have to do something that, that is part of it, doing, fun things like that. But then at times you do need good aim if you have to like get out of the car in a field or something, And I'm just saying, I travel full time as a road tripper, so all I know is there's been some interesting circumstances. So, do you come up on a Google map as a rest area? I just want to know, because sometimes, we Google, where's the rest area? We need to go to the bathroom. Do you come up on there?
I come up as a visitor information center, but I don't know about a rest area.
Well, that's cool. This is cool. So, tell everybody, because you're actually inside of you're a rest area. You're not a rest area, but you go in and hit the funnel. But you are an actual, rest. No, I'm going to keep calling you a rest area, a visitor center for the Jefferson Highway. You're on Route 66 as well, so Jefferson Highway, Route 66. You've got all of that going on. But what got this all started? Because you're in a historic Texaco station, right?
That is correct. I've always traveled road trip. I'm a fan. I'd do it all the time if that was in the cards. And I wanted something on a famous road, and I was not looking in Kansas. I lived in Kansas, but I'm not from Kansas. And I was driving my 58 Ford when I stopped for a picture, and this 1939 Texaco station claimed me. And I've altered my whole life to build this, and I'll build the Petrol Motor Quart. And we're a roadside attraction, a roadside destination. You just think of the old byways, the goofy things that the businesses would do to get you to come in, and that's kind of what we are with a very unique restroom. The challenge of hitting the funnel, our giant, a 51 Hudson that's a tribute to the character Doc in the movie Cars, our neon. Inside is equally unique. There's stuff made from car parts and pieces throughout the entire building. So it is a destination on your road trip.
And so people can go shopping. That's also a big deal, right?
It is. We have a lot of stuff with our Gearhead Curios brand to include, we have our own branded whole bean coffee with 4 different roasts. And it's not out, but I'm going to say it now. We're also working on our very own branded bottled craft root beer and craft sarsaparilla.
Oh my gosh, are you kidding me? So we're going, you are really the epitome of Americana. Like, really.
I mean, I traveled as a kid in the 70s from California to Pennsylvania many times, and it left quite a mark on me.
Yeah, but it seems like it's interesting about root beer and sarsaparilla. You see that in some of the western towns, like when they do the old west towns. Like there's a place on Route 66 near Barstow called Yermo. And it's there's a town, Yerma, and there's Calico Ghost Town, which I have camped in. And it is haunted, okay? I did a music gig out there with some friends and stuff, and did some filming, and it's some crazy stuff that goes on in that place. I'm just saying, it was fun, but when you go through these old western towns, they're making it what it was, and they're keeping history alive. And when you go in the saloon, like the kids can get that root beer, that sarsaparilla, and they go like, "What's a sarsaparilla, man?" It's like, we just want Mountain Dew in a plastic bottle. And it's like, it changes everything to kind of go back in time, and it's hitting different eras too. So do you feel like you're doing that too with that? It's kind of bringing that old-fashioned goodness while we're sitting there with cell phones taking Instagram photos, It's kind of wild.
That's why I went with those 2 flavors, because those are kind of iconic, even predating, automobile road trip travel. That's kind of an Americana thing. And a lot of people that I know, when I've talked to about it, they're not even familiar with sarsaparilla. And I totally misspelled it. I didn't know it's more like how do you say it, Cassandra? Sarsaparilla?
Yeah. Yes. It's like a root, isn't it? Then they make it out of a root.
Yeah, like both of them kind of originated from the sassafras root.
That's right. Yeah. And who doesn't want to say sassafras? Just want to say it. Sassafras. No, but that's cool. So you're going to be doing that, and so you have your own coffee now, too. So that's important. Everybody needs coffee. I need coffee. I need it now. Dude, we're making the guide happen for the Jefferson Highway. I need more coffee than anybody would know to make this all work, which is exciting, but that's what travelers need, coffee and sugar. Those are 2 things. What do you say? Like road tripping, would those be 2 things you need in the car?
And I even tell people, you talk about the coffee, you get a lot of people that travel drops off in the winter months, and I understand why, but I tell people, do it. Do it then, because it's kind of cuddly. So if you're traveling, Cassandra and I went to New York City in December, and it was an awesome trip, but it's the cuddly weather versus it's August, I'm hot, don't touch me weather. You get the cup of coffee, there might be some snow on the ground, you get to see the neon and the shops are open. I think winter travel is really cool, and kind of that hot cup of coffee goes along with it.
And you get twinkly lights when you travel in the winter at night.
Yeah.
There's something magical. And going through the Midwest in winter, there is some magic in it. I agree with you on it. And it can go all the way into spring, early spring. It's magical. And there's the lighting, we were really based on the Southwest for so long, and then hit the Midwest in winter, and everybody's like, "Oh no, it's not so bad." I'm like, "Oh no, it is." But this appreciation grew for this complete alternate lighting. And really, when I look at the difference between the Midwest and the Southwest, and how lighting affected artists and designers and musicians, it actually has created art from what happens with the weather. And I agree with you. We have to embrace all seasons. And when people kept going about the Jefferson Highway being 4 seasons, I'm like, yeah, well, New Orleans, it's a little warmer. But honestly, yes, sometimes you have to listen to what's happening in the weather and behave, and maybe not travel as much at that day or whatever. But I don't know, there's something about embracing the elements and being one with nature. Obviously, listen to the weather, and if it's time to stay in a motel, do it. But honestly, there's a beauty in the frozen lakes and, when you go through, Kansas too, the prairies get all crispy and stuff. It's cool. And the sunrises,
Yeah.
you can't beat Kansas sunrises. You guys win.
Well, thanks. Yeah, this when there's the frost or on the ground or the a little bit of a snow, it's a warm cozy. I don't know how else to describe it.
Well, Cassandra, what do you agree on this warm cozy? Do you like this part of it? Because you're doing the motel work.
Yeah, definitely. Um,
Yeah,
so, I
yeah.
mean, I'm actually not in Kansas currently. I live in
Okay.
Colorado, but I'm
Oh, well,
excited to
yeah,
be out
you
in
know the
Kansas
winter.
soon. So yeah, so it's
Oh,
great
cool.
having someone though, and
Oh,
to
yeah.
travel with and be cozy and stuff.
And the music changes with the season too. What you're playing, when you drive, the
Oh
music
yeah.
changes, and according where you are. Well, Colorado to Kansas, I've done that trek a lot. Are you? Yeah, that's a pretty trek though. It can be
Mm.
really pretty, and it's like don't do it at night. Well, I have. I've slept on Highway 50 under a full moon, right on the we were at Dodge City, just outside Dodge City, where the Santa Fe Trail was, where the actual wheel tracks are. It's one of the better sites for the Santa Fe, where the wagon tracks are.
Oh,
Right
okay.
Oh,
outside Dodge City. Well, you just sometimes you sleep in your car as you're traveling. Sorry, we do it. All good road trippers do have like a few hours in between. And there was a full moon, and it was, I don't know, it's just like this whole other cool environment to be in. And then you're sitting there thinking about people from way back when that actually cultivated the Santa Fe Trail. It's like the Pony Express Trail. Whenever you're anywhere on the Pony Express Trail, which is part of Jefferson Highway and Route 66, don't you kind of think in Jefferson Highway, the people who made those trails, like the beginning, before what we have
hmm
today, you
Yeah,
know?
before the power was there and it was dirt. Yeah, it's just amazing. Think about that stuff of how it was.
Now, are you going to have neon at the new place that you're working on, the Petrol Motor Quart? Quart. I got to say it
Most
right. Quart.
most definitely. We're going to have our neon sign that Cassandra designed, which is going to be amazing. And then each of the individual cabins is going to have neon in their signage. So it'll almost be, I don't want to say an overload, but it's going to be one heck of an infusion of iconic neon at that block.
This is so exciting. I'm loving how so many places are doing neon again because it was going away. And so is that the Petrol Motor Quart? We have that logo where you can see the quart of oil going down. Is that the one, Cassandra, that you
Right,
designed?
right. Yep, exactly. So it's dripping oil essentially, and say that it's vacant or not, no vacancy. And then we have 10 cabins, all different gas stations, and some of them are stations that no longer exist. So people are going to probably resonate and be like, oh my gosh, yeah, my uncle worked at a White Eagle, or my great
Hmm.
uncle. So it's going to really resonate with a lot of people seeing these very vintage gas stations. And so some of it we're going to recreate a lot of the neon, but yes, definitely there's going to be neon. There's going to be a gas pump at each one,
Wow.
and it's gonna
Can
feel
we?
like you're inside of a gas station. It's not gonna be like you walk in the doors and it's white walls. It's gonna be very mid-century. You walk in the bathroom and it's gonna have a blue tub and sink, and the tile is gonna be mid-century looking. So we're on the
Oh
hunt
my
right now,
gosh.
actually looking for mid-century bathrooms. We need a lot of blue ones.
Hmm.
Yeah, we're trying to go with the restrooms to match the colors of the different brands of station. And, if you're wanting a five-star Hilton, this is not it. You're going to have this
No,
iconic
but this is
station.
real.
You're going to walk
Yeah.
through the door, and some are going to have the vinyl composite floors. Others were actually, Cassandra bought bags of concrete to pour test slabs to try staining them and sealing them so it can look like it's oil stains and grease stains and stuff on a concrete floor, like if it was an old gas station.
Wow. Wow. Well, concrete floors are cool. We used to we did that to our house once. We just ripped all the carpet out, And I don't know, somehow we ended up with an African design going up the wall, but I won't, it just happened. I think we had too much wine that night, but it was cool. It turned out really cool. Well, we have a lot of African art. We lived in Africa, so this room went African, but not too much. And it was just like, oh, we feel at home now, and I think that's really cool what you're doing, because it's like, make it feel like what it was. You're carrying the torch, literally, oil torch, right? And I think people are really looking for something unique and authentic, and it is just so iconic and keeping the highways alive. You know what I mean? It's, I love what you're doing and having the cabins. Now, I just wanted to know if you're going to have the actual gas pump outside, can't we have root beer or, sarsaparilla, however you need to pronounce it, come out of there? Like, it would be cool. Or coffee.
Oh, be like a keg of root beer, and you just go out there and your pump. That'd be neat.
Wouldn't that be cool? Like, here, push a button. Well, no, it's just really cool. So you're going to have all this neon, which I'm betting is not a cheap thing to do. And so I think you guys are investing in real tourism, authentic tourism for the community. So how far is the Petrol Motor Quart, saying it correctly, Quart, from Gearhead Curios? How far is that, Cassandra? Like a few blocks or?
Oh, 2 blocks.
Oh, so you could walk. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Gearheads is in the 500 blocks, and Petrol Motor Quart is in the 300 block. It's all across the street from each other, though. But yeah, definitely walking distance.
So you guys are an actual state of Kansas tourist information center at Gearhead Curios. Erin, were you like why Galena? What's happening in Galena for travelers? Obviously, come visit you, right? But what should people know about in regards to what they should see and do in Galena?
Yeah, well, Galena, again, for why me? Because it found me. I believe a higher hand was telling me where I was going to be. But Galena's got a lot, or the 13 miles of Kansas. There's a rich history there in the mining history. Those that remember, or I guess you don't remember, most people weren't alive, but when Houdini used to do straitjacket escapes.
Oh, yeah, I love Houdini. Oh, yes, yeah. I love him. Died on Halloween.
Yeah, he did a straitjacket escape on Route 66 / the Jefferson Highway in 7th Street in Galena in 1898.
No.
The mining history is very rich there, and we're putting together, I say we, Cassandra's really running more with this than I am, an in-depth level of history on that block and each lot. So when you stay at a cabin, that lot, there's going to be a binder talking about that brand of gasoline, why we picked that particular brand of gasoline, what used to sit there. So there's going to be a wealth of information. And then through Galena as a whole, if you start kind of towards the east coming from Missouri, you have the Cars on the Route, which is an iconic spot for the inspiration for the character Mater in the movie Cars. They have the 51 boom truck. And then as you come a little bit farther heading westbound, a friend of ours, Brian Hayden, is doing the Hot Rod Hangout Speed Shop and Diner, I think is the correct name, but he's got a brick building that he's turning into a vintage speed shop, and he's got booths, and it's amazing. I don't want to spoil it because hopefully one of these days he'll be on the podcast too. But it's off the chart what he's done inside, and he's got an early 50s Valentine diner that he's going to restore, and you can go in and get sloppy joes and zip burgers. He's got the original recipe for when that diner was in, oh my gosh, I just drew a blank of the name of the town there in Kansas. He used to eat at it when he was younger, and it was going to be scrapped, and he saved it, and he sat on it for like 15 years on property, and now he's finally getting to bring it back to life. And then as you come a little bit farther west, you'll have the Petrol Motor Quart, then you have Gearhead. It's going to be neat. It's going to be not just your Jefferson Highway and Route 66, but if you're a nostalgic post-war America person, if you're a car guy, motorcycle guy, rockabilly, we're really doing what we can to put that on the map as a total destination if you have that mindset.
Oh, okay. You said rockabilly. That is something we have not touched on. Okay, the highway music. I mean, the Jefferson Highway travel guide, as we were creating all of this, we had to immediately scrap the idea of an annual guide because there's too much stuff happening. And we're like, we can't do this. So Nancy, my mom, co-publisher and host and everything, she went down the rabbit hole, like insane about the Jefferson Highway. And it's like, here's all these musicians on the highway. And I'm like, holy cow, we can't do like one article on musicians. We have to break it down to like almost cities at times. It's like Hank Williams, died in, a hotel in Northfield, Minnesota. I just found out, and it's haunted, apparently. So they say, so there's stuff like, all these outlaws and all of this stuff, but like even the food, if you look at the food on the highway, all of this, it's this nostalgia, but I think we as a country want to feel good. And I know people coming to our country from different countries around the world, they want to say, hey, where's your Americana? I think I told you that on the last podcast. We have friends actively shooting photographs of old neon across the country. They come here from Holland every single year to shoot neon signs because they're disappearing. And so you guys are all putting up new signs. It feels joyous to our ears that is happening, that resurgence. It feels like, hey, maybe we can all feel good again. I don't know if that makes sense. Just kind of, let's look at what we have. And, we may be in this time now where we're all on phones and everything, but that doesn't mean we scrap what was in the past. We should honor it and let the good times roll. You said rockabilly? That's the thing, the music thing on the highway. Rockabilly, no one's talked about rockabilly as much, and I think that's one of the coolest things is to play some rockabilly on a road trip. When you go through small town America, I mean, crank it up. Do you guys ever listen to rockabilly?
Every day.
Every day.
Oh my gosh. Okay. All right. This is it. Oh, I'm loving this. So, this is so cool.
Hey, you come in and
yeah?
I have some online stations. I kind of bounce back and forth, and I might be in a Johnny Cash mood or just a straight up rockabilly mood, or it's more of an Elvis day today, and I'll get on an Elvis kick. Sometimes I go a little bit newer, get you into the 60s and stuff. I was on a Beatles kick for like a week. Then I followed that up with a Rolling Stones kick, and I had a guy from the UK come in when the Stones were on. And it's a good thing he didn't come the week before because he didn't like the Beatles. He was a Stones fan. And it's just, it's that stepping back. I lived in Germany. You're talking about your friends overseas. I lived in Germany, and the Americana, the post-war America, they used to have festivals. They were called Ami Fests. For American Fest. They had Ami Ice. It was American-style ice cream. So I've got, young people in their 20s coming in from other nations over there in Europe because it's that nostalgic America, and we're able to give it to them.
And I think sometimes America has to catch up with the Europeans knowing about us, that nostalgia. And I think we're starting, there's like just this new wave of, yeah, this stuff was cool. Why did we forget it at some point? Things happen, change happens, and then history recycles and repeats. And it's like I was just saying with someone on the show today, I said, just like the fact that bell bottoms have not gone away. They never will. Flare pants and bell bottoms. Cassandra, what do you think? Even if you don't like them, they're still here, right? You know?
Definitely. They repeat themselves about every 20 years, some fashions.
Yeah.
Like, my daughter has neon stuff. I'm like, I remember the neon stuff when I was in the 80s. So,
hell yes. Oh my God. I was just talking about that on the show. So an author was in and she was like, she wrote a YA novel, a young adult novel on, it was based in the 80s and early 90s. I'm like, okay, I was there. We wore some weird stuff and we did some weird stuff with our hair, but I kind of feel like we need to get back to that because it was fun.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I think that's the thing about what you guys are doing is it's fun. And we want fun. I think the world needs fun and road trips are fun and you have to have the right people on the road trip too. And sometimes you just, you grow. I don't know a road trip that doesn't make you grow. And when things happen, if you get a flat tire, oh my gosh, I shouldn't even talk about it. I'm touching wood right now. Those kind of experiences actually make you grow. And it may suck at that time, but it becomes a story you will tell at a cocktail party for 20 years, 40, 50,
Yep.
60, right?
I had I had these two guys, 20s. They did their first Route 66 road trip from beginning to end in an '88 Mustang a year or so ago, and
No
they
way.
stopped on
Cool.
the way out and the way back, and they just did it again, and they stopped on the way out and the way back, and on the trip this time they bought a souvenir starter and a souvenir clutch springs. There was another guy that came through, stopped on his way out, and then stopped on his way back. He bought a souvenir tire and a souvenir starter for his '37 Chevy. So I'm like, those are just souvenirs you didn't know you needed. It's all part of the story.
Wow. This is amazing. Now, wait a minute. Do we still get to put dice on the rear view mirror and
Oh, I need to sell
bobbleheads?
those.
I bought some on one of my road trips. I have the fuzzy blue dice.
You did?
So
Yeah.
I bought
I
them in
have
Fort
a
Lake, Maine.
Yeah, see, I think I have a dream catcher that's about to like end its life. It's been in the car for a long, because I don't get rid of cars very well because they become attachments to me. And I have
Hmm.
a hard time with, I think the last time I had to say goodbye to a car that I rode all over the Southwest, you know. I'm an old, magazine print person who did delivery and everything. And, I went everywhere as, on my own through the deserts, going, can I really make it on this little bit of gas? Oh, we'll find out, won't we? And then when you have to get rid of that car, like you will find me bawling like a baby. And like even this car now we have had since 2010 and we travel full time. And I know it sounds weird, but like we should be looking. To me, she's already starting to go into classic car mode, you know? And I don't want to get rid of her because, 40 years from now, she'll be something special, or will she? I mean, what did we think in the classic car era when, cars in the 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, you know, I don't think we traded cars in as much as we do now. But I just hate the fact of just trading cars in all the time. I think they're part of our life. They are part of a family to me. Does
Well,
that sound
I've been
weird?
riding the same motorcycle since November of '99. And I have no desire to ever get rid of that motorcycle. My '58 Ford, my dad brought it to the family in 1989, and it's now in my house and my family until I pass it or go to my kids. So, yeah, I like to keep the stuff.
Yeah, and I just say replace the engine. You know, you can. It's weird. I mean, it's going to be weird now as we go into all like we're all going new and electric and everything. So, do you ever see yourself putting like electric car charging stations or anything like that for what's happening now?
I have a file with emails in it just for that topic alone, and I've got the spot designated in my mind at Gearhead Curios where that would be. I'm kind of letting some dust settle as far as the direction that the EVs are going and the charging stations, but that is it's on my radar.
Yeah, I think it takes time, and everything's a little wonky now of what's going on in that world. So it's just interesting, But Cassandra, what about you with cars? How do you feel about relationships with cars?
I've only owned 6 cars in my life, and I still have the last 4 of them. So, and I'm sad that I got rid of my '86 Sunbird because you go to car shows and you don't see those ugly '80s cars. And I would love to have had my '86 Sunbird back right now. I would drive that thing to car shows, but I do have a '91 Corvette that I'd rather drive to car shows now instead.
My first car was an '84 Fairmount Ford that had the worst transmission leak, and I drove it across Florida, and it was bad. It ended its life at a certain point, and people, if you went through a drive-through, did not appreciate me because I was refilling that thing everywhere I went. But my mom said to me, she's like, "This is your first car. You're going to do something stupid at 3 times, and then when you've done your 3 times stupid thing, then go get a car that, because this was really one of those cars that it wasn't conducive to me to play fix up, in our lifestyle at the time. And She was just like, I'm sorry, you need to learn how to drive first. And apparently that car learned about my driving, and then and it really, she was dead on. It took 3 times. I don't know if that's everybody else, but she was right on. 3 times I did something stupid, and then it was, okay, you need to grow up, and I don't know though, because it was just like, the whole bench seat in the front, we don't have those anymore. Who has bench
My,
seats
tr
anymore?
my truck has one, and it's a 2014, and it's also
See,
manual. You don't get manuals in vehicles anymore.
I
So,
learned how to drive on a manual, but that was South
yeah,
Africa. Then I got here and it was on the other side of the road, and I'm like, all right, I may have to do the automatic American thing. I don't know.
yeah,
So, but yeah, I mean, isn't it? I don't know. It's just, that's the thing is just getting in the car, being part of that car, and having
uh-huh.
that respect for it, because people made it and you take care of it. And, do you name your cars, Cassandra?
No, three of my vehicles have names. Yeah. So I have Blue
Well,
Beast, which is my truck. RC is my Jeep. And then my kids call my orange Nissan Pumpkin sometimes. So it's like,
oh, that's cute. So, Erin, what about you? Do you name your cars and motorcycles?
I've named a few of them, not all of them. My 62 Galaxy that I'm the second owner of is known as Clarence because that was the original owner's name. And not as flattering, I had a Pontiac Grand Am that I blew a head gasket on, and I liked that car. I drove it for 22 years, put over 300,000 miles on it. But there was a period of about 2 years that it sat until I got around to fixing the head gasket, and I bought a 2013 Hyundai, which was fun. It had a little stick shift, 40 miles to a gallon, but I hated the car, and I called it SLC for stupid little car. And
Remember
once
there was that, yeah,
I
there
fixed
was
my
that,
Grand Am and then sold the newer, less mileage car because I liked my Grand Am.
isn't that wild? Like, yeah, wasn't that song from Adam Sandler, a piece of you know what car? I'm trying to bleep myself.
hmm.
Yeah, there's a,
Well,
yeah, but you know what? The thing is, you have a relationship with that car. As a road, if you have people in a car, or if you're driving it solo long distance, you start talking to your car. You do. That's when the names create, you build a relationship with the car. Does that, or is it just me that I need to go to
oh
a
no.
therapist?
No, I talked about
Uh,
my good little car. I love my Nissan. Aaron thinks it's a spaceship car, but I'm like, you're a good little car. I like you, car.
It's a
I'm like,
spaceship
come on,
car.
we
That's
can do
what it's
this.
electronic.
Yeah, when I did a ice storm thing on mountain passes at night, and with trucks in a blizzard, I mean, it was not funny. There's no rails or anything, and it's like 2 in the morning, and you sneeze, you're going, and I'm just like whispering to the car. I'm like, I got you, girl. You got me. We can do this. We can do this.
Hmm.
Let's, like sing Kumbaya or
Hmm.
whatever. Maybe rockabilly. Music gets me through everything, but I feel like
Yeah.
if you talk to your car, it just calms you down as a driver. But it's like, and if anyone talks or Nancy talks, I'm like, nope, nope, this is just it. We have to be in our bubble, and we're going through this. And I've made it through so many natural disasters, and this little car, I will never get rid of her. I feel like she has been on this tour since the beginning, and it's since 2010. She's been to Mexico, she's been to Washington State, to Canada border, she's been to Everglades. I mean, she's been everywhere, and I can't tell you how many cross country trips that were insane she's done. So it's kind of weird, and I think that's the thing about when people come to a place like Galena, Kansas, find what you're doing, the Petrol Motor Quart, and Gearhead Curios. We're all lovers of this. You know what I mean? We're all lovers of travel and these adventures, and so I don't know. Do you have people that come back all the time?
I do. I have a lot of people from many states away that whenever they're going down from wherever to wherever, from Minnesota to Texas or something, I'm now a stop. And I mean, I had people even just through Facebook or text just, hey, I haven't been down to your place in a while. I need to get down there. How's it going? And just, Yeah, you form friendships with these travelers. It's awesome.
Yeah, I know that is really cool. So that's going to even grow more with the Petrol Motor Quart, you know. So when people come by and everything, it's going to just grow and grow and grow. They're going to become family, repeat family, which is awesome. Well, it sounds
And
like
we're
Galena
looking,
is
and so we're
growing with
looking
this.
forward to that because where our neon sign is going to be, it's going to be inside the arch driveway, and we're going to have the old school chairs and stuff. And we plan to, lock up Gearhead Curios and then walk down the block and hang out with people that are staying the night and just visit and socialize. And that's how it used to be, and that's what Cassandra and I both want to do again.
See, that is everything. Okay, so my friends, I think I talked about that on the last podcast with you guys, our friends doing all the neon signs. We met them on the outside of outside of Motor Court. Really. We
Mm-hmm.
were sitting there, we were having our wine time. They were like, "Hey, you want some tequila?" And I'm like, I don't know. Sure. But we've been friends ever since and we met each other in different places. And it's that, it is a sociability. And I love that, with the conference with the Jefferson Highway that they do these sociability caravans. And I had to learn how to say sociability too. But I love that they're doing that. Have you guys been part of that at all or any part of the conference? Any of the
I
conferences?
I've gone to one that was in Pittsburgh, Kansas. I was able to get away from my store to do that. I'm going to hang out some this year's. I'll probably try to drive my 58 over to Joplin, and they're going to actually come into Galena. And where I mentioned my friend is doing a Valentine diner, he's making zip burgers for them. And then they're going to come hang out at Gearhead Curios and then stay the night in Baxter Springs. So I'm hoping that I'll be able to do the evening functions with them too. I can't get down to the conference because of my building or my business, but I'm going to try to hang out with them while they're in Galena.
That's super cool. That is super cool. And then, before you guys go, Cassandra, can you give us a little history about the Petrol Motor Quart? Because last time you were talking a little bit about it, because this is where you're building the cabins and everything. There's some history there that you're also reliving, including a Green Parrot bar that's important to talk about.
Yeah. So the buildings that were originally built were built in 1900, and the Green Parrot was a bar, like you said. It was the last building to come down. All the other ones have been gone for many years. I don't know what years, but anyway, so Green Parrot, the last owner had it just shy of 25 years when a mine shaft collapsed behind and it took out like a corner of the building and just I think insurance is what was an issue. Insurance wouldn't cover stuff, so they wouldn't get it rebuilt. So it ended up after about a year and a half, they actually had to tear the building down. So that building was tore down in September of '07, I think it was. And so it was just kind of a sad thing that it was lost, instead of being repaired. But the bar, that particular lot, which was 17 or 317, sorry, is what we've actually acquired for our entire address from Petrol Motor Quart. That was a Green Parrot's address. And so it's just kind of cool that we're getting to carry on that address. We're going to have a station called the Polly there, which their mascot's a green parrot. Prior to that, there was another owner that had it for a long time. So, I mean, it was a bar at that location for probably 50 to 60, 70 years. I don't know when it became a bar, but, it was something that when we talk to people about something happening in Galena, if you talk to someone, oh, I've been through Galena, they seem to bring up Green Parrot a lot. And so it's just kind of cool. It's like, well, yeah, we actually own that lot and we're going to be building something new on that lot.
Wow. So,
And
well,
something really
dive bars.
special about that one is, we've the Poly Station, because it's the green parrot, which is a symbol, so it's an homage to that. But we were gifted about a month ago. Opal was the last owner of the green parrot, and a family member gifted us Opal's green parrot jacket. It says embroidered in the back, the green parrot. On the front, it's got a embroidered green parrot, and it's got her name, and that will be framed and hung in that station.
Oh my gosh. That is like, talk about memorabilia, you know? You know what, I think what it is, and is that you're telling the stories. And road trips are all about stories. It's what happened on the route, where you went, And, the places, the stories like that, the Green Parrot, and I don't know if it was a dive bar or not, but come on, road trips include dive bars. I'm just saying, come on. You want to go in and meet the locals and have a beer and find out what the scandal is in the town. It's, and that's how you end up staying longer. I've done that on road trips where we're like, oh, this downtown is so cool. And next thing you know, hey, let's just hang out here for the night. It happens. And that is how road trips are. It's spontaneity, and that's the joy. That's exactly what I'm talking about. You guys are bringing joy to people. It's going to so be cool. Just that history of the bar, but you're telling the story, and people will continue that story on. And, anyone running a bar, it's hard to run a bar. Bar businesses are not easy. They can be lucrative, but it's hard work. And so the people that have done that over the years, it's not like their business is gone, because it's still living on. And do you feel that? I mean, I feel that even with the cars that you're doing and the Texaco station, and keeping those stories alive and remembering who those people were that put them in the first place.
Most definitely. And then even the research, I've read articles of the people that lived and worked in those businesses. So it's I just felt I really got this connection with these various places. And then now the other thing is we have a Clark station. Well, the original alignment of Route 66 came in on Clark Street. There was a Clark department store across the street for many years. And that building was actually tore down, and now there's a bar that sits there. But so that's another connection. There's the Meecheritos is a Mexican restaurant, but originally it was a gas station. And now I recently found out it was a Deep Rock at one time. Just a brief point of time. Well, one of our stations is a Deep Rock, where you have a DX, which was a DX just down the street in the 500 block. And so we have our stations have various connections, more beyond even what we initially had thought of. So it's been amazing to start digging into the history of this place. I'm like, oh wow, I have this, and this now. So,
this is so cool. This is so cool. You're keeping everything alive. I love it. Well, not everything, but you know what I mean. You're keeping the stories alive of these entrepreneurs, which again, when we talk about American nostalgia, it's entrepreneurs. It's like the backbone of America. It's one of the major backbones. And that's the other thing is what's so exciting about the Jefferson Highway is all these small businesses and small restaurants and things that, I think people need to have some real stuff is my point. And we have to remember all the people that came first.
People aren't getting.
Say that again?
There's human interaction, which people aren't getting. There's too much hiding behind the screen of a phone, and not enough sitting around a bonfire or the swimming pool at a motel or something like that, or the cafe, and just talking with strangers.
And laughing. And sharing stuff. And the thing on road trips and trips, right? Especially if people stay a couple days, they'll all come back. They'll meet each other one night, just like the first time. The second night, they're like, hey, well, let's go to dinner together. And what did you do today? Well, I did this. And what did you do today? Oh, well, maybe I want to do that tomorrow because I thought I wanted to do this, And people create lifelong friends out of this. Yeah. All over the world.
Yeah.
And it's the hotels that have that outdoor seating and a place for people to connect, it's lacking in America. It truly is. We have to have those, and even the brand hotels, the big brand hotels, like the Marriotts and everything. And and I'm not knocking them. I'm saying they try too. They're like, we better have these bars and spaces. They started to realize that people want to connect in the hotel. They don't want to just go through the elevator and up to their room. They need to have a hangout space. The first moonshine I ever had was in a brand hotel in Louisiana. It was a happy hour that they realized they needed to have this connection point. And who knew the guy that was supposed to pour wine and beer was sharing jugs of moonshine with everybody, but it was fun. but And we all had a good night because we all started loosening up and giggling and being
Mhm.
silly, and he made a lot of money because everybody wanted to take jugs of moonshine on the airplane home. And I'm looking at him going, really? Have you not, like, don't you know what TSA does to a milk gallon jug of moonshine? You're not, what? You didn't drink that in your hotel room? What are you doing? But it
You got
was
to drink it
fun.
before you go through security. That makes it interesting.
I know. I'm like, and then you watch it like the next day on a plane. Somebody did this on a plane. I'm like, they did that the night before. It started
Mm.
there. But those are the stories. Come on, road trips. Do you guys watch road trip movies ever? Because that's a
Oh yeah.
thing. Yeah. It's
One
like,
of my favorite movies, or two of them, I'll tell you, is Roadside Prophets. It's got
oh,
two guys on motorcycles, and it's just, I love it. It's got so many cameo appearances and makes you think. And the other one is Interstate 60. Again, it's about a guy on a road trip and the people he meets along the ways and the stories that he shares, and it is full of celebrity cameo appearances. Both awesome movies.
yeah. I mean, I think everybody always goes to every time anyone's asked me about movies, every time it's like, well, this movie, and then I realize, oh, these all involved a road trip. All of them.
Rat
There's not
Race is one of my favorites.
what the rat race?
Rat Race. And that's essentially they're on a race to this money, but they're on the road, and it's just all this crazy stuff that happens on the road. And so it's a hilarious one.
And Rat Race was actually, I won't say it was a remake, but it was inspired by the 1960s movie, It's a Mad, 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 Mad World, which is, I think, almost a 3 hour long movie, and they're chasing after this money that's hidden, and again, all the antics that they get into trying to find
Hmm.
it.
Oh, I like this. That's cool. I mean, that's why people watch The Amazing Race. I think The Amazing Race should do the Jefferson Highway as a show. They should
Yeah.
do that.
Hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I'll just call him and see. Just kidding. Well, hey, you know what? I've got no scar. Well, I don't know if you say then it's going to be no scarm or whatever. I'll call people. But yeah, I mean, the road trip movies. Okay, music before you guys go. I want a song or a band from each of you that represents what you're doing or traveling around Galena or just your favorite road trip song. So, Cassandra, for you?
I don't know if I have a favorite, but I mean, I play a lot of Stevie Nicks and Fleetwood Mac. That type of stuff is what I like to listen to.
All right. What about you, Aaron?
Well, I'm a rockabilly fan, but I just did 6 hours in the car to go watch a friend graduate high school, and I was listening to some Woody Guthrie, some good old folk Woody Guthrie, Depression era, Dust Bowl refugee type songs. He was knocking it out the park.
Well, you got to say Woody Guthrie was part of the highway. He's got his
Yes.
history on the highway for sure.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah. And then you talk about Arlo Guthrie too. It's yeah.
Oh, I like
You're
Woody, Arlo, and Sarah Lee, Arlo's daughter. I'm a fan of all of them, and I've got to see Arlo in concert 3 different times. He's not
wow.
touring now. I don't normally drop like celebrities. I could really care less, but Arlo Guthrie, that's a different type. That's Arlo.
Yeah, I think, but that's the thing. It's people who actually get the people, right? Salt of the earth people understand salt of the earth people. That's it. Reality based.
Mhm.
And that's what travel does to you. You get real very quickly about life. And those who do not really travel, and I mean road trip, get dirty, go camp, go in a cabin, whatever, get out there. And it's you can stay in fancy hotels, historic hotels. Those are all wonderful too because those are some great histories. But I just get out there, no matter what it is, whatever way you want to do it, get out there because that's where you grow. You really do
And
grow.
share stories and meet the owners of mom and pop places. Something I
Oh
always do is
yes.
when I'm going into cafes and diners, I may have it narrowed down, be so this or that, and I'll ask the waitress, which would you have? Then I'll take what you would have. And she's like, well, what vegetable do you want? Well, which one would you get with it? You bring me how you would eat it. You work here, and that's how I want it. And my daughter, who's 22, has done that with her friends. They've looked at her like, you can't do that. She's like, why not? The waitress works here. She knows what's good.
Yeah, she does. She does. She knows what's fresh. She does. But that's the thing. It's oh man, there's just some and diners. I'm so excited about your friend with the diner too. When you said Sloppy Joe, I'm like trying to think, in all our travels, I can probably list Sloppy Joes on one hand of restaurants across the country. And maybe I just wasn't looking for them, but how often do you see Sloppy Joes on a menu?
Yeah. Okay, so
Seriously.
along those lines, Springfield, Missouri,
Yes.
Casper. It used to be an old Quonset hut, and I miss that. It's in a different location now, but it is the only place that I know you could go in there and get Kool-Aid with your meal.
What? Are you kidding
You
me?
can get
Kool-Aid?
Punch Kool-Aid, Casper's, Springfield, Missouri.
Oh, but can we ask them also give the packet of the Kool-Aid itself? Like, didn't you ever eat that?
Oh,
Or
yeah,
is this
yeah,
just
yeah.
me? Okay.
That's really bitter. If
Yeah, but I'm weird. We used to get
Yeah.
those sherbet sticks or something.
Oh yeah.
And that's the other thing. Can we
Fun
get
dip?
back real candy? We want real candy back. I want candy from when I was growing up back on the list. Real candy that did things in your mouth that aren't supposed to happen candy. I want that.
Mm-hmm.
I want rockets to go off and all kinds of things.
And
I
then
want,
chase it with
I
the
want,
sarsaparilla from Gearhead Curios.
there you go. All right. Yes. And you can put that sherbet in the sarsaparilla and see what happens to it. Just saying. Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome, though. Thank you guys so much for being on the show and being part of the Jefferson Highway Travel Guide. The first edition is coming out at the conference in June, very first week of June in McAllister, Oklahoma. And everyone, it's so cool. Go to jeffersonhighway.org to learn more about the organization, because I think they do an awesome job trying to just preserve and interpret the history, get the signage out there. If you are a business out on the highway, check it out. Be part of it. Be part of the community, because that's what is happening. It's like a highway community. You guys understand that with Route 66 too. It's a community at the end of the day, right? What this whole thing is. And the travelers,
It's a big family.
it's the travelers and the places, everyone becomes a community. And it's super fun. So thank you both so much, Cassandra. I think what is going on, what you're doing with that motor quart, the Petrol Motor Quart, is incredible. Do you have kind of a rough estimate date of even like when one cabin would be open? Or should we?
Well, we've scraped the ground here in the last month, and so we're on to our next stage of figuring out where the water lines need to go, and we have floor plans are done, but now we have to get the blueprints so we officially know exactly down to the exact inch of where the piping is going to go. So that's going to be coming this summer, and hopefully by fall we'll see a structure going up.
Wow.
So we'll see how
Amazing.
things
So
play out.
everyone, follow them on Facebook. The links are in the episode notes. Please follow them. Follow the journey. Be part of the history, because that's what they're doing. They're preserving and making history. And, of course, go to Gearhead Curios on Facebook as well and keep up with what's going there. And if you are traveling through Galena, Kansas, or anywhere near there, make sure you hit the funnel, y'all. I'm going to hit the funnel. All right. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us here on the Big Blend Radio Jefferson Highway Show. The show airs every fourth Thursday, and we encourage you to go to jeffersonhighway.org to learn more about the Jefferson Highway Association or even become a member. You can also dig into the history of the highway and share travel notes with friends at the Jefferson Highway Association Facebook group. Follow our shows at bigblendradio.com. Happy travels!